I met Dr. T.P. Shashimar in Maharaja's College. I deeply connected with his work. So I went in Kannur for his 6 day, 7 days program. So I learned so much things, like mostly about life, what's the beauty of life and the reality of life. That inspired me a lot. And we have like so much teachers in my life. We have all teachers, but some teachers we are connected with more deeply. Just like to explore why they are different and how they can change, how they can create change in students' life and youngsters' life. So I approached Dr. P.P. Shashimasa to relate with what is the importance of mentoring and the role of a mentor for youngsters' life, shaping the life. So the primary discussion about the role of mentor to growth of youngster or to build their life. So these are our discussions and so on. So gladly invite Dr. T.B. Sachimasa to for this session.
Any ward, any child, any student is generally governed by, maybe they are guided by, they are directed by definitely their parents in the beginning and subsequently by teachers. But we will see most of the time after few years of meeting with a lot of teachers, most of the students lose the faith in the teachers. Probably because we see teachers in the younger age. If you think about our own teachers during the primary, lower primary, or upper primary classes, when we graduate, when we do post graduation, we do research, we get into higher levels of academics in our life. When we look back, we wonder sometime, or I wonder sometime, why the teachers are not actually updating themselves, not learning, not going into higher steps. Probably somebody may agree, somebody may not agree, but I'm sure everyone has these thoughts in their mind, and therefore what happens is, when you are a person who go into higher steps in academics, we look at our teachers, they are not that good. Most of the teachers are not good. If I would have been a teacher, I would have done much better. Mostly that feeling comes, and I have been discussing with many teachers, and the teachers keep saying this. Yeah, if I had a good teacher, if some of the teachers were good, or very rarely we come across someone who says, yeah, I am good, I am able to learn, I am able to discuss, I am able to understand, I am a aspirant of this, that, just because a countable one or two teachers who really inspired. I remember if I look at my school education, rarely we see some teachers, probably they would have been very good in their subject, they would have been very good, communication they would have been very good, but what happens is teachers do not become adaptable to students. I remember when I have to write books on education, the first book what I wrote was adaptive learning. How do a teacher becomes adaptive to student? If a teacher is not adaptive to student, even if you are one of the best teacher with high knowledge, you will not be able to make a difference in your student. This is what happens. So it is not the academic brilliance, the knowledge of the teacher that makes lot of difference in the capturing attention, making the communication very good with the student, but it is some sort of a relation that you can have with your student, and I'm sure that will happen with few teachers to few students. I loved science because of one teacher, Anandan Master, who taught me during my school days. Maybe I loved mathematics because one teacher, Kunyikrishnan sir, who taught mathematics to me. Maybe I learned little bit of interest in my mother tongue, Malayalam, and the literature, not the language but the literature, with one master, Keshavan Master. Probably the English literature loved because a Sali Master who taught me during my college days. So when you look at few in your childhood, few up to your graduation, you can pick up 4 or 5, but I must have seen hundreds of teachers. So what is that makes you get attached to the teacher? What is that the ability of the teacher who makes the student to get adapted to the teacher? That is what it makes a difference. Generally, parents may not be able to guide throughout the life, where they have to go, how they have to go, what they have to study. That is basically because parents are into some business. Either they may be in agriculture or maybe in some business very specific to something, or few of them are teachers. Most of the time I have seen the children of teachers themselves are in a fix. Probably the worst affected community among the students, if you look at, they are all the children of teachers. That is because they still keep comparing their parents with other teachers, or they are not able to get through. Most of the teachers are not experts in many subjects. Assume you have a social science teacher, you see them, they know little bit of social science, but they are not that good in other subjects, whereas you as a student is good in many other subjects. So you start comparing, you know that, oh, I am much better than the teacher, because teacher knows only one subject, I know many subjects. So I am sure this is what creates a problem in the children to become very close to parents as well as very close to some of the teachers. Therefore, probably in your life, you require somebody who will guide you through different times when there are some real problem, and most of the children face problems. Either selecting after 10th what to study. We see most of the time it is the parents who misguide them, or maybe the peer groups misguide them too much, because they select what they want to study based on what somebody else is studying. Parents suggest them to study something because their friends, some relatives or daughters or somebody would have been in some branch of science or branch of arts or commerce. Then they will tell you also have to be in that same subject. So it is always misguided. Most of the time it is misguided. either from the peer groups or from the teachers or from the parents. And today most of the teachers are not equipped well understanding the whole world. When the student want to get out of the school and college to get into a higher learning or maybe different branches of career or job. Therefore, either teachers have to learn how to mentor. So for mentoring, what are the ability a real teacher wants? I went around Kerala. Kerala government has got a beautiful program called WWS, Walk with a Scholar. The selected few students are guided through 3 years of academics time in a graduation in normal colleges 3 years, where I was one of the expert, the mentor expert who visited many number of colleges. The students will ask what I have to study, where I have to do research, what selection is possible, what is the scope of this subject after some time, etc., etc. And we are supposed to guide them. But then I found the teachers have to get equipped for this. So what I did was I conducted a program called Mentors Navigational Workshop. You can see many of my YouTubes where I went to different colleges and then gave lectures on this. Mentors Navigational Workshop. How to navigate the mentors, equipping them to take care of the children through the path of life journey where they enjoy life. They will get better positions, better status, better lifestyle, better happiness. That is where a real mentor's job is. He is supposed to take care of his children as a teacher and as a parent and as a friend. So mentor has got 3 roles to play. One is a good friend, one is a parental influence, and a teacher's expertise in helping them how to learn and achieve whatever they want in their life. That is how I define mentorship. Yeah, anybody could ask or comment, or maybe Arun has got something else to ask in this direction. Probably most welcome.
So let us step in and how wonderful you shared about the mentor, the big role of the mentor, like friend.
Arun, do you have the speaker mic? You keep it close to your, hold it and then speak, because it's only vibrations, no sound is coming. It's vibrating too much. You are muted, you have to unmute first. Maybe somebody else could ask. Yeah. Keep it close and then speak. Yeah.
Yeah, like you shared the role of mentor in the 3 levels: friendship, parent level, and the teacher level. So, also how the capability of the mentor, how should be the mentor, and what is the emotional health of the mentor, and how he is that transforming your life, like teaching about what is the real life, and so, like emotional intelligence. Yeah. What is the real importance?
Yeah, see, I always keep talking about 5-fold development for anybody to become probably, we cannot say full human being, close to full human being with a real self-actualization status in the Maslow's pyramidal structure. We say that is our aim. Physically, you have to be strong. Sometime, most of the time when I used to go to schools and colleges for taking class, I keep asking them, how many of you had breakfast? Your eating pattern your minimum exercise, the way of taking care of yourself, all have to be clearly very good. I remember few years back, a parent who came to me when I was in Iringalakuda, the central Kerala, where my wife is from that place. I remember somebody came from Kodungalur with a problem that she is not able to study well and she will not sit in one place and then read, so many problems. When I found she had a lot of pimples, the face looks not very pleasant, always gloomy. She was a medical student actually. Now she is an MBBS. The other day she contacted me. She was in first year medical science. And she was staying in a hostel. I just asked her to keep a black paper, a tissue paper sort of a thing, and then rub it on her head and then took it out full of dandruff. I said one of the biggest problem, if you don't maintain your body perfectly good, I'm sure you will have itching. How do you concentrate on something when you have headache? Headache is not a physical disease. Headache can be with 100 different reasons. So, trimming yourself, when we teach people in the management subject how to present yourself, we ask them to trim. Trim doesn't mean you should not have long hair, but keep it look good. So physical, to have a dress which you feel comfortable. You should have sufficient food but not too much. So there are a lot of rules which governs how to take care of your physical health. Most of the times back pain is a big psychosomatic problem. Headache is a big psychological problem. Your tummy depends on how your head will behave. I'm sure you are feeling hungry, your brain will not work. If you eat too much, definitely your brain will not work. Sharira manaso yoga paraspara manuvrajet adhara adheya bhavena taptajya khadayoriva. The body and the mind is such related. If your body is not helping you, emotionally you cannot control yourself. So first is physical, second one is emotional. So emotionally you have to become stronger. So when you look at somebody, the problem can be an emotional problem which is affecting the physical problem. Sometimes the physical problem can be affecting the emotional problem. If both physical and emotional are not in control, I'm sure your brain will not work. You cannot concentrate in something when you are physically weak, you are emotionally weak. Emotionally agitated, you will not be able to concentrate in your classrooms. So therefore, intelligence, focusing, understanding a subject, analyzing, interpreting, all that ability depends on physical and emotional aspect. And balancing physical, emotional, intellectual is what makes you to be a social being. Assume you are not that intelligent, probably in a group of people who are discussing a subject with high intelligentsia requirement, you will lose yourself. You will not be on the rail. Assume you are someone who is not able to control yourself emotionally, then you will have a problem of mixing with the people. Sometimes your physical appearance is essential to mix with the people in that cadre. Assume you go to a party where everybody is glamorously in coat, boot, suit, and then you are not in that. Unless you are a high spiritual man, you will feel totally uncomfortable. So physical, emotional, intellectual and social. And all these can be controlled, all these can be transformed through a great spiritual ability. So it is physical, emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual transformation which makes somebody to become really good. But it is not that simple as we say. Everybody cannot be transformed, because the whole study which happened all over the globe with a large set of samples, it is identified, it is a generic statement, a generic conclusion. There could be exceptions, but the large statement says 50% is contributed by the family, what is called the tradition, parambaryam, the heritage from your parents, grandparents, the early childhood bringing up, all that has a lot of influence. It is well known that up to 6 years a student can learn, any child can learn 6,000 words. If you don't learn that 6,000 words in your childhood, you will have vocabulary problem in your life, or you can improve it with much difficult practice. But if you had sufficient number of words in your childhood, then further improvement becomes much easier. It's like an elastic which you keep stretching, the elasticity remains and it improves. If you don't use it and keep it in a corner, it loses its elasticity. So it's like that. So what is essential is that. And second one, the 40% is contributed by the neighborhood, the environment, up to probably age 18 or 21. It doesn't mean after that you cannot change, but it needs more effort. And 10% is, what is that? You have, with your own effort, attitude, practices, training, all that. So there are quite a good studies done in this. Therefore, a mentor knows whether this person can improve, up to what extent they can improve. So a mentor has to have a holistic idea, holistic knowledge about all these aspects. If they don't have all these aspects known to them, most of the so-called mentors, because you don't get any other job, you try yourself guiding somebody else, because you are a loser in your life, you have not achieved anything and you don't have any other job. You take a coat and then suit and say that, yeah, I am a mentor. No, it's a huge life experience. Talking with the people, discussing with the people, learning subject, understanding psychology, being with somebody who has done that, getting a practical life hand experience. It is not something which a certificate can be given by somebody from some place. It is not that one day you can decide, yeah, I don't have any other job, so let me start this. All these are not possible. And it is not you to decide whether you are a mentor or not. It is the students, it is the people who are approaching you, probably over a long years of practice and life with them, they decide, yes, yeah, this person worth to be my mentor. So it is not that I have to say, I am mentoring 300 people. No. It is probably 1 or 2 or 3 good samples. That's good enough. You could change the life of one person. I think that's enough. Sri Ramakrishna mentored Vivekananda. Probably that interaction is what made Vivekananda the Vivekananda. So in your life, I keep saying, Ramakrishna was a good teacher, who was a good mentor, he could change the life of Vivekananda. Probably Vivekananda was a great person, but he need not be a good mentor. Because we have not seen great personalities made by Vivekananda and who became equal or better than him. So mentoring is a different job than being into business. See, for example, everybody need not to be like that also. See, for example, a chartered accountant knows how to keep accounts of a businessman. But chartered accountant himself is not a good businessman. Because businessmen require so many other requirements. See, you have a coach who knows how to make a cricketer to play better. We have Nambiar who trained PT Usha. But if PT Usha and Nambiar, both of them start running, I am sure PT Usha only will win. So mentor need not be he is a skilled person. He knows the trick of solving problems. But probably he may not be able to solve as fast as his student is able to solve a problem. See, I have a student, Anusha, she can solve problems very fast. But I'm sure I fail most of the time solving the same problem, and I will not be able to do that as fast as she can. Probably I will not be able to read that sentence and understand the meaning of the problem before that she solves. So there are tricks which are essential. A mentor will be able to tell them this is the trick of solving problems. So it's actually a greater role. It's a higher role, but it is not a competitive role which you can compete with someone and there is a frequency match between a mentor and a mentee. It's like earlier traditionally a guru used to pick up a student and student used to decide whether this person is good for my guru becoming my guru or not. It is not through advertisement or it's not through sending messages which somebody has spread. See, we get stupid messages from the so-called famous gurus in this world where what they say is nothing different. Probably they have good English, they know how to precisely speak something. There are plenty of such messages available. But if you go into the root of that, it doesn't have any value. They just spread. It's like a mechanism of marketing themselves through blah blah blah. That doesn't, because you can only mentor people when you have got a personal individual contact with that person. So if you are not able to approach XYZ, you cannot get them into your fold. You cannot go into somebody's fold without having personal communication with them. Traditionally, meditation was taught only when, or yoga was taught only when somebody is very close to him individually, where his pulse also can be understood, his breathing rate can be understood. Otherwise, you cannot do that. I am not saying that you cannot do it online, but you need to have at least an interaction, who knows each other, who understand each other, who can communicate one-to-one. So one-to-one is essential, not one-to-many. So these are aspects: physical, emotional, intellectual, social and spiritual. All the 5 aspects have to come together, and that is the qualification which probably a mentor needs to have. If you don't have that, it will be like any other guidance or direction setting, any teachers who give them like a career guidance which can be given by somebody else. But that career guidance is not mentoring. Mentoring is taking care of all the aspects: emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual aspects. Yeah, that's what I can keep going like this, but I don't want this to be a lecture because I have done enough lecturing. So probably we should have interaction. So somebody has got some questions, you could ask them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Chandu. You could introduce Chandu so that others know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Chandrasekhar. My Google name looks to be Chandrasekhar, but it's Chandrasekhar. And I was working in ships, and now I am settled in Shore. So actually, the thing I wanted to ask is, what would be the right age at which the children can be started to mentor? Like suppose if I want to pick up 4 children from the village or anywhere, and I want to like guide them through. So, what age should it start?
Yeah, this is a beautiful question. See, it is like, assume I wanted to hypnotize somebody. I am a hypnotist. Assume that I want to hypnotize somebody. It is not that I can pick up somebody and start hypnotizing. Mentoring is such a business. It is not that I am a doctor, I want to pick up some patients and then start treating. Actually, the requirement should come from the people who really require a mentoring. Otherwise, any bulldoze which you give goes as if you are pouring water when the glass is kept ulta, reverse, not opened for receiving. So it is not the job of somebody to pick up somebody and start mentoring. I remember I've got an old house in Kerala, my hometown, my family house, which is named as Nanam, Jnaanam. I am spelling it because if you want, you can look at Dr. TPS Nanam. You can see hundreds of residential workshops which I did for plenty of people. That's where Arun Dev also came and stayed with me for 10 days. I had hundreds of children. Arun Dev left 3 days early, so he stayed 7 days. The camp was for 10 days. There are plenty of children who came and stayed with me with their volunteership. There were children who want to come to me, but the parents said don't go, and they couldn't. There are children who were pushed into my camp by parents because they had problems. They had problems of different variety. They had problems. There were students who were at the graduate level. They had the opium, ganja addict of drugs, want to get out of that. I remember somebody who came to visit that place for few days, like a director of one of the radio station, who wanted to see what's happening there, but he stayed for 3 days and went. I had some student who was pushed by his parents and then stayed there, but then he opened up. His biggest enemy happens to be his own parents. I remember some parents want to push the student there, but he was not ready. But a half day he was there with me. Then he said, yeah, I am ready, I want to continue. I remember a 6th grade student who was supposed to be dropped in my place. The younger one who was 3 or 4 years old. I don't generally take students less than 7th grade. That means you must be able to manage yourself because they have to take care of themselves by taking bath and washroom and all that. No, but a 4th grade student, 4-year student, he was in grade 1 or grade 2. He was from Abu Dhabi. He was immediately telling, I don't want to go back, and he wanted to continue in the camp. That is the interest somebody should have. Yeah, I have something else to learn here. Assume somebody comes to you with that intention. It happened in 2015. So 5 years down the line. So now the child is in 7th grade. Even today, during festivals, during holidays, when they have examination, they contact me and then take advices how to prepare. So that spark which a child got in childhood is good enough. So it is not picking up somebody and changing their life. Probably you get a spark, or maybe referred by somebody else, but you, okay, let me taste this man. And then if somebody comes to you like that, and somebody reaches you in such a mode, therefore then probably you can take off. Most of my lectures talking to probably 8 lakhs of children whom I interacted so far. Maybe 10,000 of children would have had this intention for coming, interacting, talking, discussing. Sometimes they don't come forward because they have a fear in them. Today from Bhubaneswar, Kalyani telephoned to me. I cannot say Kalyani. I don't know whether she is Dr. Kalyani or, but she is a senior teacher in one of the colleges. So she was telling, last time when I heard your lecture, I wanted to contact you, but I couldn't. But yesterday I heard you, then I decided, I picked up the number and then I contacted you. See, some people, how do you know that a second chance you will be able to meet someone? It will not. So what is that you can do? You must make that. And sometime what you will do, somebody will give a missed call and then they don't, because they have a fear. How do this man react to you? So that fear is there. Therefore, we don't approach people. I am sure as teachers, as social change makers, either you work with an NGO or individual social responsibility. You need not have corporate social responsibility. I keep saying that I have got individual social responsibility. As long as you start dialogue with someone and maybe you share with what you can do for somebody else. And if they find a spark in you and they come to you, whatever is the age doesn't matter. Any age you can change. Any age you can make differences. I remember one of the professor who came and stayed with me. She wanted to come for long, but she said, my child is 8 months old. She can only just put 1 step, 2 step, and then she will fall. If she also comes, will it disturb your whole system? But I know that how a small child of 8 months also can sit folding the hands like this, crossing the legs, and they will sit totally silent for 1 hour or 2 hours. That's very simple. So probably it doesn't matter the age. But I don't say that some students who are 18 years, you will not be able to make them to sit like that also. So discipline, you can teach different people at different level. Intellectual ability to grasp things, emotionally to control themselves also changes. I know somebody who was a great singer in the childhood. In few competitions, he could not do well. I went to Anantapur for a program. But then we get a spark sometime. One boy who was engineering 2nd year or 3rd year student. Immediately I said, you come and sing. He said, no sir, I will not sing. I said, you can. I know that you will sing. But then he was not ready to sing. He said, I will not sing because I had a bad experience. I am not ready to sing now. All that was told. So what did I do? I made him to sing on that day. And he sang. All his friends was really thrilled and really surprised because they were with him for 3 years, and then that 3 years he never even sang 2 lines. His own peer groups doesn't know. So how do you trigger somebody? It's a spark. Why did he sang? Though he could have told, no, I don't sing, and then got out. But he told his story and he was really weeping. He was crying because he had a bad experience. But then I said, this is not a time to cry. You must do it and then show to the world that no, you can. It is not running away with a failure. When you fall, I'm sure you can again recoup yourself and then come back to rail. Sometime it will work, sometime it will not work. So this happened probably to somebody who is a graduate student. I got somebody who is a very senior person, probably age of 60, after retirement. They have a lot of confusion. They don't know which tradition to be followed. He missed his family tradition, but something else came into picture. So many different problems. So it is not age. I want to tell Chandrasekhar so clearly that it is not age. Probably a very senior person requires guidance. Mentoring is only giving some directions and guidance when they really require. It could be at any point of time to anyone in any field. It is a help. Probably you are not able to do something, you refer to somebody who will be of some help to them. That's also mentoring. You are not able to solve all the problems. Like an MBBS doctor will not be able to solve the eye problem. He will refer to ophthalmologist. So definitely a mentor is one who knows where this person has to go for his solutions. So redirecting into the right direction is what a mentor's job. So he need not solve all the problems, but a mentor is one who knows the basics of the life, physical, emotional, intellectual, social and spiritual problems, where you need directions where you can put them. Like an MBBS doctor knows minimum knowledge in medical science so that he can refer the case to the right places. So there are a lot of places where I know that somebody wanted to learn this, that, I will refer to them to the right place. Assume somebody comes to me. The other day we conducted a agriculture seminar. Somebody came and told that he has got this to be done. My job was only referring them to some XYZ person. That's it, because I am not an expert in that field. So that may become one of the requirement. So it is not you picking up and then I will drive you through my life. No. You become a magnet and I am sure the iron particles will come and then catch you. I think that's what I have to tell. Yeah, somebody said I have a question to ask. You could unmute and ask questions. Otherwise, Arun Dev have some questions to continue. You could.
Sir, I am Suraj.
Yeah. Suraj, you can come on to video. Sanjeev Kumar is seen. Yeah. When you speak, you will come on to the screen. Yeah, fine. Yeah, Suraj is here. Yeah. Suraj,
sir,
yes.
I am studying in SN College, Kollam.
Yeah.
Take maths as a subject, main subject.
Yeah.
Sir, I interested in mathematics because of in my school days, I am totally interested in mathematical problems, etc.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I can't afford the theorems and principles that I study in college because full of theorems, only theorems, no problems related to theorems.
See, basically, mathematics are all numbers and problems in the early ages. But when it comes to higher, you are somebody who is deriving theorems for making these problems simpler. So all the theorems are creating shortcuts. See, for example, you know the theorem a minus b into a plus b is equal to a square minus b square. That's actually a theorem which you are proving. That's a statement in mathematics. That's a shortcut in mathematics. Why people misguide it in the childhood? Because in childhood, when somebody has to use this theorem or when you are solving problem, you are not educated which is the major theorem or major formula which is used. When equations are given, you are never taught where is to be used. So your relationship between the theoretical mathematics and the applied mathematics. Solving problem is an applied mathematics. For that applied mathematics, you need formulas to be derived, equations to be derived, theorems to be made, for which you need some theoretical background. So what is education? When you are in 10th class examination is like filtering and pick up only few good people who can go for higher studies in +1, +2. What is +1, +2 examination? It is again filtering. Many people has to fail and go. Those who can study into higher graduation in different subjects. What is BSc Mathematics? BSc Mathematics is like a filtering where the best people can join for masters. So everybody who joins BSc need not become successful. But yes, because you have spent 3 years, you must get a sufficient good marks and you must get a certificate. That's why the new education policy is making it so flexible. The problem with today's education, you have spent 1 year, you are not confused, you don't know what to do, you fail in many subjects, you are not able to pass examination. You are really interested in mathematics, I am sure passing exam becomes simple. But assume you have difficulty in mathematics, not necessarily mathematics, it's applicable to any subjects in the world. How do you pass examination? Passing examination in most of the subjects in Indian situation is not at all difficult because teachers don't invent any new questions in this world. All the questions which are asked in examinations are all previous 5 or 10 years examination questions. So Suraj, if you want to pass mathematics exam, it is very simple. Prepare just 5 or 10 year's question paper and write, you will get 100 out of 100. I remember when I was doing MSc Mathematics, there were children who just passed examination just by taking 5 years of examination question papers. But I did really well because I enjoyed learning mathematics. You can enjoy learning mathematics only when you know how to visualize, for which you need good teachers. You understand the spirit of learning. The other day, one MSc statistics student who passed from one of the best colleges in Kerala was telephoning and telling, I taught something for, if you want to learn some visualizations of mathematics, you look at my teaching of mathematics to some students of America, USA. AP board, some examination they have to pass to get into college education. So yesterday some MSc statistics passed very senior was talking to me saying that concept explanation is what made me to really talk to you. That's what she was telling. So I'm sure, Suraj, you pick up, maybe your friends knows how to learn. The one of the best method is to have a peer groups learning. Start discussing, debating, explaining, understanding from others, and then grow yourself. If you are very specific how to understand a subject and a topic, you must always go back to your teachers. I'm sure teachers are the only community who will be ready always to help their children. Don't hesitate, find a teacher nearby your place, go to them. And if you are a brilliant student, you are a wonderful student or not, I'm sure teachers will help you. I just posted one small YouTube class on mathematics today. So my last video is on mathematics teaching. The end of that I said, whether you study mathematics or not, it doesn't matter. You can still be a good person in this world or not. Whether you pass history, you understand philosophy, you are a good English communicator or not, that doesn't make any difference in your life. So passing different subjects is a different game in the world. Probably Srinivasa Ramanujam was very good in mathematics. That doesn't guarantee that he had got brilliance in many other subjects. The Shakuntala Devi movie, if you look at it, which just released a month back, you will understand she was very good in mathematics, but she was not good in many other subjects. So being good in one subject or being good in not other subjects, it only matters whether you understood that subject from the teachers in the perfect way, or you have a real genuine spirit in that subject. Probably what would have happened is somebody have given you an orange which is sweet, and then you thought all the oranges in the world is sweet. Not necessarily. Some oranges also can be too sour. Just because somebody gave you a sour orange, that doesn't mean the whole orange in the world is sour. Somebody has to give you a sweet orange. Every subject is like that. I keep telling you, come with any subject to me, I will make it most interesting to you. Yeah, if you find interesting, I'm sure you will know how to learn it. So Suraj can have a special dialogue with your BSc or MSc mathematics, whichever subject you want to study, take the theorem, and then we will have another Google Meet where I will teach you mathematics. Kollam SN College is where I think I came sometime for a WWS program. Good enough, Suraj?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, and Suraj also attended my Sanskrit day class, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, so I remember.
I take my second language is Sanskrit as my second language in SN College.
Yeah.
I wish to take Sanskrit as my graduation subject, but
Yeah.
my parents never allow me to take that.
That doesn't matter. You must also satisfy your parents, and you should also satisfy yourself. So you must learn both mathematics and Sanskrit, and then teach Vedic mathematics, Egadikena Purvena, all the few slokas which explains all the tricks of mathematics. Yeah.
That means some Sanskrit to us also.
Jayanti Sahu, what do you want?
Sir, no. I'm saying that teach some Sanskrit to us also, sir. We need.
Actually, I don't believe in language. I believe in literature. Because language is required only when you communicate. Probably I need English because I have to communicate to many people. When I need Hindi, probably to communicate only in that language, in that place. Unfortunately, we don't have such a requirement of learning Sanskrit language. Probably there are a lot of people who think that Sanskrit has to be publicized. I am not against it. But I don't want to spend my time talking in Sanskrit, because though I have inaugurated many of the Sanskrit workshops where the Sanskrit language is being taught, I was called to speak. I inaugurated that. But I feel that you must understand the Sanskrit literature. That has got much things to do. Probably there are a lot of people who can speak in their mother tongue, but they have not read a great book in their language. There are a lot of people who may be speaking in English, but they have not even read Shakespeare. So you understood the difference between language and literature. So I am not an English language person, but I am an English literature person. I can read a poetry, interpret, and then give that knowledge to probably an English speaking, English native speaker, much better than probably themselves. I taught English to kids who took birth in America, and then they wanted to write entrance examination for colleges. They took English class from me. Because you may be a Hindi speaking person, but you can still be a Hindi speaking person without even reading some poetries, some prose, some articles, some textbooks which are written in Hindi. So as an academician, as a person who wanted to develop himself, I think it is literature which is more important. Interpreting that, understanding the inner sense of what somebody has to communicate to you is more important than colloquial communication, which I am the scope of using is it only to show that yeah, I can also speak in that. I'm not denying that ability, but yes, our intention and objective and scope has to be clearly defined. Otherwise, people will waste a lot of time in that, and then you may not use it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Somebody else? We wanted to make it most interactive. Arun Dev?
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
Myself Ravi.
Yeah.
Sir, myself Ravi from Maharashtra, Pusar.
Pusar.
From Engineering College, faculty.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a faculty of Engineering College.
I always
Sir.
take that Pusat as an example, where my experience
Sir.
of coming and staying there for 3-4 days, and you are the principal of that college.
So, sir, thanks a lot, sir.
And
You
that
have
puppet-
very well mentor the many people, many students.
Puppet served with the dinner we had. All that is, I'm rejoicing those days. Yeah.
Sir. Sir, I would like to highlight one point over here.
Yeah.
Nowadays, in engineering colleges and arts and science colleges, we have the one cell is called as a mentor-mentee cell, a mentor-mentee scheme, under which 25 students or 20 students attached to the one teacher. This is also given in the case of the NAC, National Assessment Accreditation Council.
Yeah.
Every college has to go for the NAC accreditation, present day situation.
Yeah.
But when I come to the conclusion about the mentor-mentee scheme, it is not working out that much we expected.
Yeah.
When I identified as a quality assessor cell in charge, IQAC, Internal Quality Assessment Cell, I am the coordinator of that particular IQAC cell. When I interacted with my friends, colleagues, what you are going to deliver under mentor-mentee scheme, then they are telling that students, they are having any shortcomings in the curriculum, if there are any shortcomings in the infrastructure, they have to highlight about them, then that points will be carried to the higher authority to solve the problem.
Yeah.
But here we are emphasizing more on quality development of the particular student, not only identifying internet is not up to the mark, sir, teacher is not coming on the time, sir is explaining only theoretical portion, is not explaining this one. These things are there. But how to shape the student is most important, and give me some guidelines in the engineering level, how we can shape them, particularly mentoring them, not about the infrastructure is there or not. That is not to be highlighted. We should highlight how one should develop internally. Please guide on that point, sir.
Yeah, Professor Ravi Garu, what you said is exactly correct. But you said you are not satisfied the way it is working.
Yeah.
But I am 100% satisfied the way it is working. You know why?
Sir.
Ravi Garu had some expectation from that mentorship and the NAC accreditation procedure, allotting 25 students. You had some hope in them. And therefore the hope is not delivered. You feel not happy and you are not satisfied. But I am satisfied because my hope in that is zero. I know they can do nothing. So even if they do little bit, I am happy. See, I will tell you, this is where I said the mentorship is not something which you can pick up. The previously I was answering to Chandrasekhar.
Yeah.
That is why I made it elaborate, because I know what is happening in colleges. It is not that somebody can mentor somebody by assigning. And I am sure you being a chemistry teacher or maybe a mechanical engineering teacher who has to assess the students whether they are weak in chemistry, physics, drawing, whether they are in mathematics, how do I do that? So a mentor's job is to identify, have a dialogue, maybe they can refer to the respective people. And some places it is much worse. They have a counseling center. When somebody has problem, they will be pushed into the counseling room. But it is very bad. Nobody will be able to open up their problems to an unknown entity unless you are very close to them. Therefore, if somebody even telephone and tell me, sir, my son has this problem, will you talk to him? I said, no, I cannot change them because I don't know that person. That person doesn't know me. So it is essential to have a knowledge between the student and the teacher. Otherwise, officially, governmental setup, these are all the minimum things which can be done. They can tell that they are doing something in that direction. For the certification purpose, for paper purpose, it is fantastic.
That is there, sir. That is only going up.
But then,
what I want to, we have to develop that student.
I am sure
that internal motivation is not coming out.
That
teacher side, that also from the student side.
Yeah, that is why when after I visited your college, more than 100 children would have been with me for years together, consulting me, talking to me, taking guidance for getting into different places. When I go to Northeast and all, nearly 1,000 people will be with me. When they pass 10th class, they will inform. Then they pass 12th class, they will inform. They will talk to me once in a while. There are a lot of children who are doing it. So you don't require, and sometimes they have very specific questions on some subjects. I spend a lot of time. There are people who asked very specific questions in different subjects. I invest a lot of time in teaching them those subjects. So a mentor is someone, assume I am not able to do that, immediately I will tell you have to go and look at this. This topic is very good. If somebody says this lecture is very good, I keep Googling, I keep finding out, and then refer them to such websites, such videos. All these are done. So I am sure your role is only to guide them, direct them to the right place. So for which there is, see, in colleges, if there is no setup, it is very bad. So having little bit of setup is much better. How to improve that? That is why I was telling you in the beginning, I had a mentor's navigation program. The difficult problem with the college teachers, engineering college teachers, in school teachers from the TTC level, the lowest teachers, to the B.Ed, up to +1, +2, the teachers with the masters with a B.Ed. All of them, at least for theoretical purpose, they have got a educational psychology subject, in which they learn little bit of psychology. But what is the drawback of colleges and engineering colleges? You do your BTech, you do your MTech, you have never got any taste of humanities.
No, sir. No educational psychology, nothing.
Yeah, and second one, you probably, I'm not telling about Professor Revigaru,
System. Yeah.
but the system. Most of the teachers who become engineering college teachers are the most frustrated teachers, where they did not get any their job because they are professionals, they want to become engineers, they could not become, they become teachers. I also was executive director of an engineering college. I know the difficulty in getting a good teacher in an engineering college.
Sir.
So, in such a context, if you are frustrated, how do you imagine you make your children to motivate to learn in engineering? So, one of the patch up is you must get lot of guest speakers, not counseling experts. Guest speakers, as you have done. I gave training to non-academic, academic staff, non-academic staff. I spoke to the whole college. You remember? I spoke.
Yeah.
My class was attended from you, the principal, to the lowermost security staff also.
Yeah.
That is what I suggested, and we have done it in your college.
Yes.
Yes. So that is where everybody should have. Otherwise, what will happen? A student is feeling weak. The security also have got a role. He has to pick up somebody. Why are you crying? Why can't you consult this person who came and talked to you? That security will suggest to somebody. Because everybody knows. The Pusat Engineering College, during that period, all the community people knows me. That is a relationship which a person has to build with an academic institution. Then only he can turn himself into a person who will guide them. I don't use the word mentoring. Probably once in a while they will come and go. Yeah. It's a good question, but it is much better than having no system. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Sir, myself Govind from Arunachal Pradesh. We met in Arunachal Pradesh.
Yeah.
I'm presently studying in Kerala, College of Engineering, Adur, BTech Mechanical second year.
You were in 9th or 10th class when I came to Arunachal, right?
Class 9.
Class
Prasadaya
9.
Shiva.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a question that in our engineering subject, mechanical engineering,
Yeah.
When a particular module begins of any particular subject, in the beginning 1 week it is quite interesting. It is very fascinating. After that, the pace of the teachers increases by an unimaginable level that we are not able to cope up with that. And soon the module becomes discomfort for me, and there comes the problem of completing the module with a full satisfaction.
Yeah. That is why I want to refer you to the previous principal, Professor Revigaru. He is a mechanical engineering professor.
Oh.
He is a wonderful
Civil
teacher.
engineering, sir.
Yeah, civil engineering. See,
Yeah.
what happens? What
Sir,
happens
we
in?
had a good interaction that time.
Yeah. What happens in most of the engineering subjects or science subjects? Your base is essential 90%, 100% to build the next step. In history or civics or philosophy, you can jump into 3rd chapter and start reading. Nothing will happen. But still you can follow. See, the history which happened in some year is not connected very well with its previous history. You can always read from there and then start. Post-independent history you can learn, pre-independent if you don't learn also nothing matters. Right? In mathematics, if you don't learn the basics, it is very difficult to get to the next one. All the engineering subjects, the basic language which they speak is physics and mathematics. And little added chemistry. So, if your basic maths, physics, chemistry is not very strong, in biotechnology, maybe biology also, is not very strong, you will find this jerking when the building is constructed without a foundation. So what you should do, the best method is look at every technical word which you have in your subject and then go into the root, understand the technical word, understand the meaning. You tell me one chapter which you have to learn now in mechanical engineering.
The beginning of fluid mechanics, dynamics of fluid.
Yeah, that is my PhD anyway. Fluid mechanics is my PhD.
Fluid mechanics.
Yeah.
That's the subject also in civil engineering.
Yeah, that is why I said mechanics and civil engineering. I referred to him because civil engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, all of them have got a common subject called fluid mechanics. And mathematics people are the best people for these subjects than anybody else.
Yeah, I just thought as there were several derivations.
Yeah, so what happens, some mechanical engineers who just passed somehow their BTech and MTech start teaching fluid mechanics, it will be a very big flop. So what you should do is, I guarantee you 100% mark, get your classmates, we will have a webinar Google Meet and I will teach you fluid mechanics. Done.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. Though I left fluid mechanics 30 years back, but still I am not forgotten. I can just pick it up. That's my guarantee.
Yes, yes, sir.
Any engineering subjects, I taught mechanical, civil, electronics, electrical, computer science, most of the subjects I taught in my life. I've got one question here in the chat box. As you have mentioned, a mentor can play a role of a parent and a friend. Then how could a mentor, in this case, you could keep away some personal feelings away from the decision making? See, a friend turns into a friend is a friend of yours only when you can contradict, you can object. But a close friend of yours is one who always agree with whatever you say. What is the difference between a friend and a mentor? He will agree with you until you know her or his problems totally. Soon after understanding the problem, the mentor will change the role and then become the mentor's role. To tap the problem, to understand the problem, you will have to play the role of a friend. That is what will happen. And if you don't play the role of a friend, sometime the mentee will not, the person who has problems will not open up. To open up the problem, there are different techniques. One of the technique is becoming a friend. I use different technique anyway. Okay, so one of the problem is that, so it is justified. And somebody else, Danya has, but wherever we spoke to them by applying such motivational or psychological methods, they are saying that teacher, you are applying psychology to discourage us from doing mischief. No, Danya is wrong. Psychology is not to stop people from, that's what just now I said. You wanted to be with a child, you will have to become a child. You want to become a serious researcher, you have to become a researcher. That role play is what you have to play. I'm sure when you play that, I remember when I teach KG teachers, I used to be like a KG teacher or like a small child there. I do the role play, I do all that gimmicks what a child does, and that's how I teach them. But that is the role play which you have to play. So it is not becoming a teacher giving advices. Most of the time the teachers are advisors. That should not happen. But we have, I am sure you can see a lot of classes where the science class is being taken by Anandan master. They really play with items. That is how they become very close to them. So once you are close to them, they will open up. Then you can also see children are supposed to play mischief. Nothing wrong. If they don't play mischief, why? How can we call them as children? Correct? So they should have that liberty to play. We don't have to take the whole life as very serious. Sometimes people become so. The other day I heard one of the speaker become slightly, no, I don't want to listen to songs when I am talking. Actually, nothing wrong. No? How does it matter? Sometimes you'll have to throw somebody out if there is too much disturbing. Otherwise, little bit of disturbance is also fine from the children. Right? So we don't have to become too worried about the children making noises. So that is acceptable. Yeah. Sir, can you please share some points on role learning versus experimental learning? What is that? On role learning or ROT, routine learning, where we believe that I see, I forget, I see, I remember, I do, I learn. Yeah. Yeah. I will give you a small example. I think I had this for some teachers training program. What you do is what you remember. What you learn is what you don't remember. What you see is little bit you will remember. I'm sure you will do that. If I tell you the area of a square is, if A is the side of a square and the area of a square becomes a square, the perimeter of a square become 4 times A. I'm sure you don't have to teach this to a children. If you show a scale with the A size or 1 feet, ask what is the perimeter of the scale, the square. I'm sure immediately they will say 4 feet is there, therefore it is 4 into 1 side. That's very simple. Now what is the area of this? It is A multiplied by A. How do you know? You take one scale, start putting into how many times? As many times as this. So you are multiplying one length with as many times you are repeating. That is how you are multiplying. Therefore, if this is length, you repeat the length B number of times, it becomes L into B. Now this is the circumference. But what is the area? Area is this. Now the same scale, if I just make it into a circle, the perimeter changes, the area also changes. And the diameter will define what is the area of this. And this area is much bigger than the square area. We can visualize it. So the perimeter difference, area difference, though you only change the shape. Assume somebody has given you one string and then say you can use this string to measure the land you want. If you make a square or rectangle, you get lesser area, but you make a circle and then get the land, you get a bigger area. This is a small thing which you can learn. So I'm sure when you see this, you visualize. If a student does themselves, I'm sure they learn it and they can teach elsewhere also. This is what I wanted to tell you. Yeah. Arun Dev, we jumped from some place to some other place. Arun Dev can come online. Yeah, continue.
So, like, I would like to take this here, and so it's a wonderful female being. He's like 12-year-old.
Yeah.
In Pune, Maharashtra. Like, his name is Nishan. He's an unschooler. Like, mostly he's learning from his parents, his society, and so what is fascinating about him is like that he's very good at English, especially his accent is very powerful and very beautiful accent. So I had a thought in my mind that I would like to learn English from him, and so I have to would like to learn an English accent, like British accent. So much beautiful. So I approached him and he is ready to teach me the English accent. So when I look at in that kind of mindset, he also can become a mentor to in particular subject. also, that doesn't mean a mentor can is like a wholehearted being in all the aspects of life. He is very physically fit, he has to be physically fit, emotionally fit, in subject aspect. If he expected one particular skill, I can be approach him. I can learn from a small child also. Like how beautifully you shape. If you want to see the child, you have to play a different kind of role. Like if that student role, that kid role, you have to play there. So I thought that he also became an inspiration for me. Also, a book can become a mentor for me. An inspirational talk can become a mentor for me. So the culture also is different. Mostly, the learning together are friends. Like, that is the culture you would like to how to develop. Like, how much we are open to learn each other. If someone is, you don't know, I don't know something about that. So,
Arun,
of course,
I have to tell you, there is a word called mentor which has got a bigger meaning. When I said to understand somebody, I may play childlike activity with him to know him. That doesn't mean because somebody teach me how to do a programming, somebody teach me how to use a mobile phone, some servant maid is teaching me how to clean the table, that doesn't mean she will become my mentor. You have totally mistaken. It's a stupid argument saying, or I never vouch for that. When a student is talking good English, because I am going to learn pronunciation from the child and the child can become a mentor, is actually a totally ununderstanding of the mentorship itself. Mentorship means somebody who has got a higher experience in life, who can guide somebody else who has got a lesser experience in large number of situations when the mentee wants you to do it. But assume, Arun, think that small child is more experienced, more wisdom person than you can surrender to them. But that just because somebody can speak good English, just because somebody can clean the place well, just because somebody can plant some tree, somebody can cook something, doesn't mean she becomes or he becomes my cook mentor. There is nothing called a very specific terminology for such things. When you are a swimmer, you can swim everywhere. You don't say in this pool I can swim. When you know cycling, you cannot say I cycle only in this route. Mentoring is a greater role which is to be played by one individual in the life of somebody else. Don't shorten it by looking into saying that somebody speaks good English, so she teaches or he teaches me pronunciation, therefore they become. That way every English speaking people are mentors in English, every Malayalam speaking people are mentors in Malayalam. It's all, no, I think it's a too low level of a discussion. You understand the meaning of mentoring first, look at what is technically it means.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Chandrasekhar.
Yeah, I would like to add to it, professional mentoring, we are on stage for 3 months, now we are in the shoes of a mentor, automatically in the sense that we get, fresh cadets.
Yeah.
Now they're going to spend 20, odd years or maybe even more on this kind of a profession where we are staying together, that's the big thing, because now it becomes like a family, you have to cater to their emotional needs as well. At the same time, you mentoring them professionally. So on the broadest perspective of that probably is what, you are trying to explain, mentoring.
That is what I said. See, when your cadet has got a problem physically, you will attend.
Yes.
when they have got an emotional they may be feeling lonely, they may be feeling out of their house, they are not able to contact other. Earlier there were much bigger problems. I know when some sailors from Hyderabad, the family is also in trouble, the person is also in trouble, they used to come to me after that, and then I said, this is part of our life, we have to take it. So sometimes you need some emotional balancing, and then telling them, though you are also into that problem.
Yes.
Right.
And now things are better. You have got WhatsApp and everything.
Yeah, but I remember those days 15 years back, those people were not able to contact their family for a 1 year. It becomes big problem sometimes.
So you have all kind of people, like, from a cadet to second officer,
Yes.
third officer, and somebody
Yes.
like a chief officer who is just about to take over command. And we are told from the company itself, now you start mentoring this guy, because this is the guy we want to promote him in an year or so.
Because you are
So
living with them. You are living with them.
Yeah. Yeah, we are living with them. So professionally, as well as, to give the holistic, approach towards the whole thing.
Yeah.
So what found is, like, when I'm doing this, as you said, like, to get closer to the people, you become friendly with them.
Yeah.
Even though you are a captain, you have to get things done from them. But still, at times, you need to be depending on that kind of, personality. Sometimes you have to be more friendly. Sometimes, like, as a fatherly figure.
Yeah.
So actually sometimes I feel like that is what I'm missing once I come ashore,
Yeah.
that kind of interaction.
Because you have a lot of children around you and you miss all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes it's so wonderful, like if somebody after 5 years, 6 years, the cadet who has become probably a chief officer, or sometimes even a second officer becoming a captain, and then he comes back to you saying, sir, you told me that day, what it is like to have, to keep a lookout, or something like that, and you are quite, happy about it.
Yes.
And that's how I was asking, how to continue that interesting aspect, even in ashore, like, and as I was saying, like, I want to shift to my village,
Yeah.
So I would like to have such kind of cadets, sort of a people where I can, interact with them, and it's not for them, it's more for myself.
Yeah,
like,
that is why when, see, what happened is, I must have had sessions in thousands of schools and colleges, must have spoke to more than 8 lakhs of children, more than 5 lakhs of teachers so far in my life. We rarely see somebody who look for such requirement. And once very few number of people are there around you, it's highly cherishing for you. See, imagine under your mentorship somebody goes to MIT. Under today, what I do is I also pick up all these videos and then make them into YouTube and post them. So what happened in 2016, I posted, and then I wrote to, what I do is, when those people who are interacting with me, the telephone numbers are with me with the college names. I may not even know their name individually, but I know they belongs to this college and I met them so and so day. So what I do is I post that into my Facebook. I also post that same thing personally into their WhatsApp, saying, this is the video which I created. This is the day in 2016 I met you. And today I got few messages. One is working in Amazon, one is working in Mahindra, one is an HR manager. So they wrote saying that it is just because of you I took up this career. So that's actually cherishing your life, right?
Yes.
So that is the outcome. So I think this is where we cherish really. When we send a message to them, they say that, yeah, I remember so and so day you came to our college, and we know this is what is happening in my life. This is what I did, And it is not one sentence. It was great speech delivered by you, sir. I am an HR now in Amazon, all because of your motivation, sir. So actually,
when somebody on ship, just said me saying that we had a fire drill, and I remembered, how you used to conduct a fire drill, So something like, I felt like, after 5 years, if somebody is coming back, means I might have really,
that's it.
made an impact.
Impact.
lasting impact basically.
That's it.
So I don't know, because professionally, of course, yes, I was, on the ship. Yeah, I can think, I can say I was pretty good at it. But now on the shore, I want to hone these, whatever, skills of mentoring.
I think nobody should venture into mentoring just for mentoringship. I know you can motivate children by probably sometime I teach mathematics, sometime I'll be teaching language, sometime I'll be teaching Bhagavad Gita. That class which I teach Bhagavad Gita is good enough for somebody to connect to you. My mathematics class is good enough to connect to somebody else. So you should have something else. This mentoring is like a water, the juice inside apple, juice inside orange. So you don't supply the juice, but you supply orange. Let them eat and then understand the taste is coming from this man because of the specific juice. So that juice is important. Got it?
Yeah.
I remember,
The basic,
I just
contents,
now,
they have told,
in the beginning of the session, I mentioned that I had a wonderful teacher who was my science teacher, Anandan Master. I remember when I did it in Dubai, I had 400 students and their parents all together, 800 plus 400, 1200 audience. I said Anandan Master is one who motivated me to learn science. During the tea break, one small girl came and told Anandan Master is my grandfather. So you get a blessing that your master's grandchild becomes your student. And soon after the tea break is over, I took the child onto the stage and I told, this is my teacher's granddaughter. No, I'm sure seeing that my teacher and that student, both of them would have got a real spirit of life. This is what the recognition which you get as a teacher. This is what the recognition what a student has to get. I'm sure that is what
So how to develop it, like, how to, develop, being a...
Yeah, that is what I said. I did corporate recruitment training programs in engineering colleges. I did communicative language. You can see my lectures probably in early 2000 was in personality development, communication skill, power of positive thinking, etc. in Vivekananda Kendra in Hyderabad. That is where I must have had lakhs of children coming to me 100 by 100 by batch for years together. 10 years, you can imagine 10 years into 365 days. 100 children each. So it's a large number of children. So when they have some requirement, probably they will come back. They must have heard this from 100 teachers. But they found, oh, this man makes some difference in my life, so let me approach him. That's how it happens.
Okay.
Yeah, other day I had a lecture for life insurance corporation people. Soon after the lecture, one person came and then asked me, sir, you said you are only making your video and posting. Will you teach us how to make this? I said, come on to Google Meet. I taught him how to do a video editing, and then that is also posted onto YouTube.
Yeah.
So what you do when you explain, there are some people will catch that and say, yeah, I want this. So don't stop satisfying anybody. I never stop anybody. Whoever wants and then comes and talk to me, I jump into that and then get involved. I start giving whatever possible things which I can give without a delay.
Yeah, great.
And I'm sure you have some expertise you start sharing. Automatically, if you have that ability of mentoring, people will find that in you and then they will come to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is what they have to recognize you, not that you should pick up somebody else. I'm sure you could mentor people because you are a good captain.
Yeah.
So your technical skill is what made somebody else to approach you. That's what should happen. See, just now you found Govind who was talking to me because I taught him when he was in 9th class. Now he is after 6 years, 7 years also, he remembers, he knows me, I am in contact with him. He teaches in different places. There are so many such students. I've got Durga Anusha here who met me in 2010 in one engineering college. Now she is in US, finished her masters in MIT and then doing a great job.
Sir,
Yeah.
So, thank you very much for this meet again. So, I also like to mentoring my students.
Yeah.
So, they also like me very much. But sometimes during this course lockdown period, I try to attract them in different, in various activities like writing poems, viewing in mind in this lockdown period situation, COVID-19, etc., etc., or any special days or divorce. I advise them to write something, and we in our Zoom app platform we meet, and I try to tell them show yourself whatever you want to do. So sometimes I find that some students are very much interested, and some are not. So I think maybe some lacking behind me, or I don't know. But some students are coming and ask everything what they write and show me. And in these days, in 15 days, I write poems on kids and give them to recite. So in YouTube also, I create YouTube video. So they have much interest and enjoyed also. So one mother from a kid, she taught her daughter, saying that please do this, and actually she is my granddaughter, maternal granddaughter. So your daddy will give you computer or laptop, so you try and recite this. So it is not good, sir. I think her mentoring to her kids is not good. Actually, her kid will develop the jealous or some other activities. So the teachers are such types of mothers. How I can mold them? How I can show them that this is not good actually.
See, just now, all throughout, I think that is what I was discussing with the Chandrasekhar also. It should not be your intention to get somebody under your mentorship. If they need, they will come. If they have to leave you, they will leave you and go. That's it. It's like you are a consulting doctor. If somebody comes to you, you give them medicine. Doctors will not run behind the patients. I will give you medicine, please take it. A singer will not go and tell somebody else, please listen to my song, I will sing for you. Somebody comes in front of you, you will sing. That's it. I may be a good writer. That doesn't mean somebody else will have that talent. So generally, who is a person who can cater to multiple people? Those who have got that sort of. See, when children come to my camp, I don't have a syllabus. What do? Some camps are totally dance. Some camps are totally song. Some camps are only learning. Some camps are only for trekking, climbing, sometimes meditation, sometimes spirituality. Sometimes we will have craft. If you look at Nanam camp, you can see I am making maybe flowers. I will teach them how to draw. Sometimes I will teach them how to climb coconut tree. That doesn't happen in every camp. It all depends on who is what and what is that they require. So that is why I said you have to play different roles. And if you are not playing different roles, probably some people will be with you, some people may not like. Let them go wherever they want. Some people may be very good in computer and you are not in good computer. You will have a problem to mentor them. So what is to be done? Probably you will have to equip yourself, you will have to learn if you want to be in pace with them. But I am sure if you have got that philosophy, The philosophy is Dirghadarshan. I know what they require. So probably you may not be good in the techniques, but you know to suggest something for them to grow further. That is mentor's job. That's what I said. You need not be a good runner, but you know how to make somebody else to run faster. That's good enough. So I'm sure if you are good, in this digital world it is much better, because anytime you can call like this, anytime we can call people, and I'm sure you can have a lot of activities around. Right? That can be singing, that can be dancing, that can be many things. The other day we had got a Moksha 1 month virtual camp. I never planned to make a drama, but then I was suggesting somebody, you have to become creative, do something. Then somebody immediately came up with a theme. That theme I made it into a drama, and we made a digital drama. I had 1 or 2 rehearsal trials, maybe 20 minutes. All of them I have posted. You can see how they developed, and they became a beautiful one. So if you have got 20 children, probably somebody will play some role, somebody will play some other role. They will find themselves different roles. Only thing, you will have to throw some stones. What makes vibration is not in your guarantee. Sometime it may make a good wave, sometime it may not make a good wave. So it doesn't matter. I'm sure sometime a small touch which is given to a small child during their childhood, they will come back to you after some time. They let them taste different. It's like a buffet. You are in a counter. Everybody goes to different counters and then taste and then find out, oh, this food is very good. Let me go back and then have a second, no? Yeah. Yeah. Arun.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Sir, over here again.
Yeah.
Small note.
Yeah.
Sir, once in the month of February, I took a class based on your teachings about life, the full acronyms of life, living, etc.
Yeah.
It was something which led me to that class was the same which you told just right now. Just throw some pebbles and what is, how will the vibration, it's not depend on us. It will depend on what the students will take or something like that. It was a class took by me for the 9th standard students, CBSE KV Kerala. So I felt one, after taking the class and during the class, they were quite anxious of what I was telling. They were quite interested. It was some kind of motivation. And recently during this Corona holidays, I asked them, I tried to contact with some of them, and I got a feedback that from my point of view, I felt that motivation which they gained during that time was a short time limited. That they are not able to continue this now. What might be the cause of that?
No, they don't require you. That is as simple as that. They don't require you.
Yeah. No, sir.
See, I'll tell you, Govind, when I come to Arunachal Pradesh, when I speak to 1,000 children, probably 100 of them will contact. Maybe in a month time, 100 will be in contact. Maybe in a week time, per year, out of that 10 will contact.
Yeah.
That definitely happens because we are living in a world where we have got a lot of opportunity. You understood? So everybody need not to be behind you. And they are also seeing a lot of people, they graduate from this to something else. They have a different role to play. And they know what is required, where it is required. So, see, in my life, I will send probably once in a while some lecture messages to Govind because your Govind is in contact with me.
Yes.
Otherwise, I don't. Actually, you should not contact your students. In case if they want, they will come back to you. That has to be your approach. Otherwise, in society, you will have lot of problems.
Sir, I tried to contact them because just fed up with the normal life leading in this Corona days, nothing excitement, nothing etc.
For you. Never you should get, no, I want somebody should not be the reason for getting a mentor, guiding somebody in life. Because you are frustrated, you should not get somebody else to guide. You have to be a person. See, you have to create yourself 200% busy, and you have to motivate yourself. Then you have some reason for somebody else to look upon you. Suppose you are a person who is not that motivated yourself and ask somebody else to. Everybody is genius enough to know what sort of a person is this.
Yes, sir.
So they assess you and they will never come to you.
Yes, sir.
You understood? So mentoring is not something which you can market by yourself. Mentoring probably can be marketed by your students, and they can tell somebody else, this person helped me, why can't you contact? Maybe some parents, but for which you need a spark. Because every child always look upon to their parents, to their teachers, and as a second, third person, you are reaching there for a 1 hour talk. Don't expect that you can mesmerize people just like that. It is not that possible. We are not Vivekananda who could mesmerize the whole world in a few minutes of talk. That is not possible. Yeah, 3-4 minutes of talk Vivekananda could grasp the whole public. We are not like that. So we have to admit that, yes, and that should not be your profession. That has to be your passion. You have to be good in your studies. You have got, as a student, you should not invest time on anything else. Because all these have to come when a stage where you have got a self-actualization. See, if you ask what Dr. TPS require in my life, I don't require anything now. I have got enough money. I have got wherever I am supposed to get. I gained whatever knowledge I am supposed to gain, and it's time to give. Until that time, I only went behind the teachers. At your age and all, not at your age. Even after becoming a scientist for 20 years, I was behind different masters to learn different things. The problem with the youngsters like you and Arun Dev and all, you think you heard somebody guiding somebody else, you heard one lecture, you think you can also start giving lecture, I can also guide people.
No, sir, not I didn't actually meant that. I have a doubt that even to me, after referring to your classes on YouTube or the class which you took me in the Prajodaya Shibir.
No, I know, Govind, individually you and me are in conversation. I am not talking to you, Govind, as a person. You are in conversation. Before going to the college also, school also, you talked to me. We had conversation, all that I know. Understood?
Yeah.
But I will tell you, as a student, your job is to focus on your studies and prove that 100% you are a good student.
Yes, sir.
If you are not scoring 100% in your studies, I am not saying 100% in marks, 100% in knowledge. Your investment should be to be with your subject, make your groups. Wherever, when I was a graduate student, all my classmates were very close to me. And I was a 100% good student. I never guided anybody. Yes, I guided somebody. They came to me for some tuitions. I gave tuitions. I took classes. I taught somebody on bookkeeping and accountancy. All that is done. But that was their interest to come. I never wanted anybody around me. I never even spoke to few of my classmates also, because I was fully focused into my studies, nothing else. I was a 100% mathematics student when I was a BSc mathematics student. When I was an MSc mathematics student, I was fully an MSc mathematics student. When I was PhD, I never gave guest lectures, because I know how difficult it is to finish your PhD in mathematics in 3 years. My job was to do PhD and get a job. It's all after getting a job, my spare time. Even after getting married, having my children, young children with me, until they became 10th class, I never went for such extra activity outside, because my mentoring was for my children. My full education, timing, everything was given to my children. Maybe when they grow up and I have nothing else to earn in my life, and I have something to give to the society, I started giving. That is the time when I jump into this. So I think that is something to be done when you make your life to prove that yes, you reached somewhere and you are now in a stage. Not as a student. Not as a student. Not as a confused youth, not as a student. 100% no.
Yeah, so I just tried that because after hearing the words of Vivekananda, that I tried to remember what you told me. I just conveyed to them. Nothing else than that.
That is fine.
And
Yeah, that is fine. Let us leave it at that level.
I'm a mentor for them.
Let us
Just
leave
able
it.
to rewind my own classes which you took.
That is wonderful. That I appreciate it. I also told you it's good.
Yes,
But beyond
but
that-
the fact is that for me also sometimes I am lacking some points in the life for which I have to pay a huge later.
No, that your time is only to study and study the whole subjects, and all the subjects which you have to study for an engineering college student is huge. Not the syllabus, not the question, not the marks, not what is in the syllabus. Around that you have lot of things on the YouTube, you have lot of things on online where you can learn. So you have to just focus on to that, nothing else. That is also true with Arun Dev. Arun Dev is doing a PG. He should invest full time in studies, nothing else. Any other dilution will prove that you are a failure in later part of your life, you will realize.
Okay.
Because you cannot get back this graduation study time in your life later. The rest of the social program, I remember when somebody as a principal in a school, he came to me asking for some donation for some old age home, orphanage which the group is running. I asked the principal, that was a Wednesday, I think 11 o'clock or so. I said, this is Wednesday 11 o'clock, why are you wandering for begging money? Sir, we have few people who are put it into some place where they were all on the street, orphan, begging. Then I said, what are you doing now? You put a few beggars in the house and then you are begging now. And you are a principal, at this point of time you are supposed to be in your school. And you are skipping that and then coming and begging. That is too bad, I said. You are supposed to do your job. During that time, don't do something else. This is a great message which I keep telling to everyone. No students are supposed to do any other job, probably like a leisure time, yes. Like a passion, yes. What you learned teaching somebody else, yes. But don't dilute your focus. That's only what I said. You are a good student. I am not against you. Arun Dev is also a good student. I know Arun Dev's background. From where he came and joined for graduation. All that history I know. That's only what I said. Yeah. Good enough? Or we have something more? Yeah, Arun. Yeah.
What's the age, the relationship between mentor and the age?
Nothing like that. That is what I said. See, Shankaracharya, when he went to meet his guru asked Shankaracharya, Arun Dev, do you know who is Shankaracharya's guru?
No, but
Yeah, you should learn all this. That's why you should also get some assignments. Okay. But when he met him, I am not telling because you have to Google and find out. You learn. Somebody already answered in the chat box. I don't even want to read. You can look at it. What I am saying is, when that was told, what happened? Immediately, Shankaracharya was asked, who are you? That is where Shankaracharya wrote a poetry. And that poetry tells Shankaracharya was much more realized person than his own guru probably. But that realized person also require a guru because he has to concretize, format something. Ramana Maharshi knew the whole Vedas, but he never knew that was part of Veda. He knew much more than what probably his gurus know. But then still Ramana Maharshi had somebody else who guided him to tell, now what you are telling is taken from this Veda. So that somebody else can interpret and then put that into the textbook. So formatting you require somebody's help. Probably I may be very good in some subject, but still I need somebody who will tell me which subject I am talking, to whom I am talking. That realization I may not have. So my expertise have to be shared with somebody who may have less expertise in that subject, but he knows the format in which it has to be put. Got it? I may be very good in designing something, but I may not be able to put them into my website. So probably I will look upon my student Anusha, who will make that website for me, in which maybe the sentences, grammar may be wrong, but ideas I may have. So it is a mix of both mentor and mentee together. So after that, it is like a sharing. It is Vivekananda went to Ramakrishna, but Ramakrishna used to feel upset when Vivekananda did not meet Ramakrishna one evening. Ramakrishna used to hunt and go and meet Vivekananda. So the Guru and Shishya become so close, the mentor and mentee become so close, they become mutually related. So there is no age, it is not expertise, it is not knowledge, it is the Adheya, Adheya, Adhara, Bhavena. That is the word to be used. Adhara, Adheya, Bhavena. The taking and giving. That relationship is what is to be maintained. Good enough?
Good.
Shall we call it a day then, or if there are no questions? Preman Nair is there. Namaskaram, sir. They're all stalwarts, ex-military, deep into sports with a lot of children, right? There are a lot of people who are very senior people who are also attending this. Premanji can.
My son is interested in going into NDA, you know.
Yeah.
He's done his 10th and 11th, 12th. He is preparing for NDA.
Yeah, good. Good, very good. Chandrasekhar, I remember when somebody wanted to do a NDA program, I was conducting a camp in Kannur, and the student was in Ernakulam. So he telephoned and told me that I wanted to prepare for NDA, can you help me? I said, we are running a camp, you can come and join. See, most of my camps are not paid. It is given free for many of the children. There are few people who fund that and few others will become free. It all depends on what they contribute for their food. My service was free, accommodation was free. And I remember when somebody wanted to come, I said, you travel for, it is approximately 6 hours of train journey. Immediately the student said, you tell me if there is any camp conducted near my house. So you know what did I give an answer to them? You join in NDA only when the training center comes to your village.
Exactly.
If they cannot travel 6 hours for a training program, see, some people are so lazy in their life, they want everything, but they don't even travel. That's a problem.
Yeah, next time if you conduct anything, any such program, please do let me know, sir.
See, I never did anything for it myself. When there is a group who comes and says that, sir, we want this, then immediately I will start. That's how I started. Most of my programs are motivated by my students who gather themselves. Maybe some idea I will throw or tell that this is what is happening, and that's how it happens. Yeah. Anybody else who want to speak who are there? Anusha is there now. Preman Nair, Chantu Shekhar, Sri Harsha. I don't have anything more to add. I think Vijay Nair is one who joined in the very beginning. Geeta Lakshmi, Srinivas Rajula. Okay then. Thank you. It's almost 6 o'clock. We had a long 2 hours marathon. So bye-bye. Yeah, anything more to add? Anybody? Otherwise, we will call it a day.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Joseph J, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arun.
Questions coming in between. I mean, some got clarified. So you covered pretty well indirectly those things. So you said, okay, I mean, the content is with you, but the problem is how much the attendees are, able to differentiate. That I was kind of trying to, get a more crystallized form. I am a pharmacist, but I'm more into yoga, Ayurveda, and wellness, natural farming, and we came, me, Kiran, and we group came to you. Yeah. I was in US for almost 25 years, and then yes, but now I'm more into integrated wellness. So
Thank you. Bye. Right, sir. Bye.